I rise to speak on behalf of the nomination of Loretta Lynch to be Attorney General of the United States. Mr. President, I want to reflect back to probably the hardest elected office I held or will hold, which was mayor of Richmond. When I was a city councilman and mayor from 1994 to 2000, my city had the burden of having the second highest homicide rate in the United States. And we worked in our community together with everyone, especially law enforcement and community leaders, to try to bring down that scourge of violent crime which was affecting neighborhoods, especially the poorest neighborhoods. We were able, over the course of 7 years, to achieve some very dramatic success in making our city safer. But along the way, Mr. President, I learned a couple of very important things. The first was this, that you can't tackle major public safety challenges without a strong relation between the community and the local police department. It is impossible to make progress if that does not happen. And secondly, I also learned you can't tackle a difficult public safety challenge without a strong Department of Justice. We relied upon that partnership with our local U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia, but all the way up through Maine Justice and the Attorney General in order to try to tackle and turn our city's public safety situation around. As you and all who know, we've seen over the last few months a series of controversies that have really torn at all of us as we've watched challenges in communities and distrust between communities and law enforcement agencies. In early August, Michael Brown, an unarmed 18-year-old, was shot during a confrontation with an officer in Ferguson, Missouri. That shooting spurred nationwide protests and concerns against what many in Ferguson and elsewhere viewed as overly aggressive tactics by the police. A month prior to the death of Michael Brown, Eric Garner died as a result of a police chokehold in July in New York when he was confronted over the selling of untaxed cigarettes. There have been similar instances in Cleveland and Madison. It's not limited to one part of the country. It's not limited to north, south, east, or west. There have been similar instances that have raised serious concerns about the connection between law enforcement and the community. And, Mr. President, there have also been horrible atrocities committed against members of the law enforcement community. The deaths of two NYPD officers, Wenjin Liu and Rafael Ramos, shot point blank weeks ago in New York City while they sat in their patrol car. And just yesterday, as we've heard reported, shootings of police officers in Ferguson, Missouri. These instances in cities around the country demonstrate a significant level of tension and even distrust between the police and communities they serve, often minority communities or communities of color. I am here to tell you that these tensions do not have to exist. They can be bridged, they can be solved, but it takes a fully functioning Department of Justice with a leader at the helm who has been confirmed to solve these issues. The Department of Justice has, throughout history and today, played a critical role in investigating cases like this and some of the situations I mentioned. The DOJ has been able to come in and be involved and provide some calm to situations, provide some level of confidence that there would not be a sugarcoating or an effort to sweep into the closet legitimate questions in the community. In the state of Virginia, Mr. President, there's currently a DOJ investigation concerning the police shooting death of John Gear, an unarmed Caucasian who was shot on the steps of his residence in August of 2013. And local officials in that county have welcomed the involvement of the Department of Justice because they knew that citizens would have a greater confidence in the outcome if it was being done by someone other than the officials who had been elected locally. And so there is a critical need at this point to provide some confidence to communities that have questions about the relationship between their own concerns and the service of law enforcement departments, just as law enforcement departments want to have a way to build bridges with the communities they represent. Loretta Lynch understands the significance of the Attorney General's role in these situations. She's testified that one of her key priorities would be to work to strengthen the bonds between law enforcement personnel who she's worked with during her entire career and the communities that they serve, which she well understands. The DOJ last week released a report from their investigation into the Ferguson policing practices that laid out a number of significant concerns, concerns that, if they are unaddressed, will continue to lead to distrust in Ferguson and elsewhere. A strong Justice Department that can help mediate and bring the sides together is a part of the solution. Ms. Lynch is a no-nonsense, hardworking prosecutor, known for her aplomb, her demeanor, her intelligence, and her ability to work with a wide variety of stakeholders. And I am absolutely confident that Ms. Lynch will approach these issues with the same focus, fairness, and expertise as she has approached her work in the past. And so I stand today to urge my colleagues to not wait, to support Loretta Lynch for our next Attorney General,